To the phones, I want to grab a call or two before this hour expires. Phelan, California. Hi, Bill. Great to have you. Welcome.
Good morning, Rush. Really, thank you very much for having me on. I'm a long time listener, almost from the very beginning, and I think it was meant for me to get through today on this particular subject alone.
Fire away, man. Thank you.
Okay, on the Mars thing, I'm a special effects artist and an actor in Hollywood, but I'm a conservative, kind of like Gary Sinise, Ronald Reagan, Charlton Heston, and I counted Charlton Heston as a very, very good acquaintance before he passed away. And when we do science fiction, we have to do real-life research, Rush, and what the liberals today are smearing over is the fact that there was science on what possibly happened to Mars many years ago. But what they're doing is they're, just like the global warming and the global cooling, they're changing the scenario now to fit their political agenda. What we believe happened to Mars was that an asteroid struck, very much like the dinosaurs being wiped out here on Earth 65 million years ago. What extincted the dinosaurs? Now, there's two differences, Rush.
Wait. Who is this we? What we believe happened? Who is that we?
I'm talking about mainstream science, real science that counts, that has the real facts and figures.
That asteroid's a convenient excuse for things, but because who can say it didn't happen?
No, Rush, really. On Mars, the northern hemisphere is completely different than the southern hemisphere, and it shows signs of trauma. If you've ever seen the movie with Gary Sinise, Mission to Mars, from a few years ago, at the end of the movie, the alien or the Martian shows them what happened to Mars and why Mars was abandoned.
Wait. I'm sorry, I'm out of time here, but you said that these movies, this is going to sound disrespectful, I've got to take I'll hold back and think about this. Be back here in just a second. Having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. Your guiding light, your real American anchorman and truth detector, Rush Limbaugh. Here serving humanity simply by showing up. The telephone number, 800-282-2888. 800-282-2882 and lrushmo at eibnet.com. You want to send an email. I want to apologize to our last caller, Bill, who was calling from California. It was my fault. Here's the problem, and I can't do anything about this. I am the mayor of Realville. I'm a literalist, and I wasn't sure what he was calling about, but I got sidetracked when he said that to write science fiction, they do a lot of research to find the truth. Well, those things, that confused me. Science fiction and truth don't go together to me. So I'm sitting here trying to figure that out. And then I heard an asteroid hit Mars 65 million years ago like it hit us and destroyed the dinosaurs. And that if you watch the movie, at the end of the movie, when the Martian tells Gary Sinise, I was lost. There aren't any Martians, and so I just got confused. And then there was the time constraint problem. So I ended up babbling here. I was fighting off the snarky comment about the contradiction in science fiction and truth, because I didn't want to be mean, because I'm the politest host in America. And I was waiting for the comment to go toward the whole idea about this so-called science of what they are saying now happened to Mars, and I thought he was going to relate something in a movie to it, and that wasn't the case. So I didn't make a connection with a guy, and it's my fault because I'm Mr. Literal. I hear what people say, and I mean what I say, and I assume everybody else means what they say. And you would not believe the problems that causes, because most people do not say what they really mean, but I think they do because I do. And man, I've been in more spats with people. It's a burden, folks. It's a burden to be a literalist, and to not speak in codes, and so I just have never learned to do it. Anyway, and I didn't want anybody to think that I was being rude or disrespectful. It was just a lack of time problem, and I was totally confused. And it wasn't his fault. I'm the highly trained specialist professional here. I should have been able to weed my way through that. So I still don't know what his point was going to be as it relates to the so-called science of what's happened to Mars. We didn't have time to get there. Now, one more thing while I'm on this subject. Yeah, this is from the, what's the website? What is this? I think it's Daily Caller. Arctic sea ice is still too thick for ships to traverse the Northwest Passage. And this story is about how all these scientists are confused. For years, scientists and activists have predicted the Arctic would be ice-free during the summers, and winter sea ice levels would continue to decline. But what they didn't count on was sea ice remaining too thick for ships to regularly travel through. This is not the first kind of this story we've had. We've had numerous stories in recent years about expeditions to Antarctica to study climate change and global warming getting stuck in ice so thick that icebreakers couldn't even reach them. And they were shocked and they were stunned. They believe their own nonsense that the ice at the North and South Poles is melting, when it's not. It's getting bigger. So they get and set out to study the decline in ice, and they get caught in ice so thick that nobody can get in there to rescue them. The first ever study measuring sea ice thickness in the Northwest Passage has found Arctic sea ice is still too thick for ships to safely travel through it year-round. Scientists found that, quote, even in today's climate, ice conditions must still be considered severe. What the hell does that mean? Even in today's climate, where we are enduring massive warming? Even in today's climate, where we are not enduring massive warming, but look at how they automatically just accept it and believe it. Even with all of this sweat-inducing warming, why the ice is still so thick. Do they not stop to think that maybe the ice is so thick because it isn't warming? See, this is, again, Mayor of Realville. I'm a literalist. How in the world can it be getting warmer and the ice be getting thicker at the same time? It can't. And yet these people are able to believe that. And I can't relate to it, other than to call them stupid. And that doesn't advance anything.